Are you tired of Meta holding the monopoly on WhatsApp and not allowing you to do automations or adding chatbots on there without having to pay for the WhatsApp business number or the WhatsApp API? Well, if so, then this video is going to be for you because I'm going to show you how you can, for free, add your WhatsApp private number into N8N and do automations, add in chatbots without having to pay anything. My name is Altus and I run multiple school groups where we do AI automations exactly like this that we use to scale our own businesses and sell as a service to other businesses. So come along, follow along. It's going to be a long and technical video, and by the end, you'll have a full blueprint and a know how to create your own WhatsApp automation that you can use for outbound messages, adding in chatbots, and it's super valuable without having to pay Meta for anything. So let's get into it. And by the end of the video, if you watch it all the way through, I'll also give you an awesome blueprint with the step-by-steps written out for you as we go through the video. WhatsApp. Why WhatsApp? Well, if you're probably anywhere else in the world but the United States, you'll know that WhatsApp is absolutely massive, especially for businesses, because just look at the actual stats. I mean, there's billions of messages sent every day. It is one of the biggest downloaded apps, especially that on Android. And then figuring out from a business perspective, sending marketing messages, if you can even get up to it. WhatsApp is just great because it's actually got 98% open rate. So every business, especially UK, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, a lot of people use WhatsApp. A lot of businesses uses WhatsApp. But the problem comes with WhatsApp and WhatsApp pricing, especially for businesses, because it's such an awesome service. Obviously, it's easy to take advantage of. Therefore, the rules are really tight around it. The same with SMS and the same with email. And it really is problematic for these numbers. But if you want to do WhatsApp and WhatsApp automations or WhatsApp business stuff, because WhatsApp is owned by Meta, you kind of have to get a WhatsApp business number, and then you have to have a WhatsApp business app. And if you want to connect API stuff for it, you got to pay for all of this. It's kind of like all the extra service where you pay for the API connection. And then even if you find a good service that can do this for you, you need to do it through the Meta business suite as well. But we're looking and we're thinking about things like it costs extra money for the API key and then for the usage as well, especially I'm a high level user. High level does WhatsApp really well because you can add the automations and chatbots in it. But again, you pay extra per month for it, and you pay for the messages as well, which you'd think, well, WhatsApp is free because over data. But no, when you do business messaging, you gotta kind of really pay for it. So um WhatsApp is really strict on cutting off or differentiating between like what's a private number, a business number, and then where automations come in. And when you do things like this in here, they get angry and they ban you quite easily. And there's quite a lot of first of all, of course, costs a lot of money, and there are a couple of wrappers around it, and it works the same sense where the wrappers works in the same sense where we can bypass all of these and you can have WhatsApp and do some sort of automations within it. Because it kind of works like where you link your WhatsApp to your mobile desktop and things like that. So it works on that wrapping type of technology. However, the platforms that's out there are also not free, so you still got to pay $55 for some of them, for example. And if you think about it as pricing high level, which kind of actually this is too much. If you work it out, you can get a high level account depending where you are for $40, $50, and then adding the $10 on top of that. Then you have full WhatsApp automation, but you're still going to pay for the usage of the sending backwards and forwards. So prices started leveling up a little bit. However, what we can do, and also um, when you want to do cool stuff like automations, integrations, chatbots through it,
especially when we're thinking about N8N, because hey, let's face it, N8N is cool. We all like it. Um, it does have the WhatsApp integration to it, but you need the WhatsApp APIs for it. And there's a lot of trending videos on there. I don't know about mail those people too much, but a lot of them uses this, which means you need this, which means you need this for it. There is a free way of doing it, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this totally for free. However, it's going to cost you a bit of learning today, but it's not too bad, because I think I did a pretty good job at explaining it really well for you. So I did this intro afterwards, if it makes sense. But what you're going to do is you're going to use Google. Google gives you a free cloud computer, so you're going to set up your own server. Don't worry if you don't know how. I go through it really slowly. It's free. You get 30 days free trial to use it every day, unlimited, as long as you use the smaller amount of usages. And when we think about numbering, it is going to be small. However, if you want to have a free computer, if you want to have an upscale, more data use computer, you can use any of the other ones like Hostinger and so on. I think if you just start using a little bit more on this, it does come to $7. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be the free tier with it. And even when I show it to you, you'll see the estimates, but it's still going to be free. Okay, it's still going to be free to use. However, the other ones are like $5 or $6 if when you think about hosting and so on and so forth. And what we're going to do is you're going to have your free platform. It's going to run Linux. We're going to take Linux, and on top of Linux, we are going to build a thing called Docker, or we're going to add a program called Docker. This Docker, and we'll go through what it is a little bit. We'll have a preset application, which is called the Evolution API. The Evolution API allows us to connect your phone to the Evolution API, and then from there on, we're going to be able to message backwards and forwards, and it's kind of going to go through to that Evolution API via your WhatsApp, and then we'll be able to connect it to N8N, so you can do any automations with it. You can connect chatbots to it, you can connect booking systems to it. All we need to do is we need to our messages to come in to N8N from WhatsApp for free, doing all of these cool things in here. And I'm going to go through really slow how to do it, so don't have to worry about it, because we have N8N in there. And then it's going to be easy if you follow step by step through it. And if you don't, then just ask a GPT large language module for it. That is still really easy to do and easy to use. That is how I learned a lot of it. Don't let this intimidate you. It's going to be easy. And I go through step by step. There's going to be some notes that you can write down, because there's going to be some weird commands. So, and at the end of the day, you'll have a free system that you can actually connect other ones to. You just got to make sure your cloud usage is a little bit low for it. But really cool, really fun. And again, once something is an N8N, we can do anything with it, right? We can make outcoming messages from spreadsheets, chatbots, AI systems, booking and calendars, and all other cool things. So let's get into this, and I'm hoping it makes a lot of sense for you. And I hope you can just copy and paste this exactly over like it is. And like I say, if it doesn't, just chat GPT that stuff. So let's get into it. All right. So our first step is going to be to set up a virtual machine. Now you can go out and you can pay for all the other ones. There's the Hostinger ones. There's a lot of free VPS machine providers out there. Some have a free tier, some have a free trial, some is like something like $5 a month. But we're gonna try keep it as free as possible. And Google actually allows you a free compute engine. So if you just look up and go Google free tier VPS, and you need the Google Cloud account, which you should kind of already have if you have N8N, or you're gonna add anything like your Google Sheets, Gmail, and all of those. You should have a Google Cloud account in a Google console, and we build out all these cool things. But just looking up in here, and you come to compute engine, and you'll see in here there's a lot of details about the free tier. Now, you will need a credit card for this, but you won't get charged for it if you stay on the free tier and you stay on the limitations for it. So it basically says in here you get one E2 microprocessor. So that's like the CPU. And we're gonna need to host it in a specific area. And the size is small, and 1 gigabyte of out-of-bound data transfer from North America to all regions. All the other ones will be free to use. So you get it. You get a pretty decent low level virtual machine within the cloud with an external IP address that we can use. So I'll go show you how to set it up. I had to delete mine, so I can't quite show you how to create a new Google Cloud account. But you're going to come in here, you're going to sign up for it. So we'll just leave this one. I'm just going to drag this one off to the side, and so we can have that open. Because it's important to remember the E2 microprocessors and the locations. But if you just come to Google Cloud, and if you go sign up on Google Cloud, and you'll be kind of presented with something very similar to this. This is where you create your API access for N8N. But once you sign up, if you come down here and you just go to Compute Engine and you click on it initially, it's going to ask you to enable the API, and you're going to go create enable. And now we'll go create the machine. So you should have something blank like this, very similar. And I just stop mine in here, and I'm just going to create a new instance. The instance is like a virtual machine. Okay. So create a new instance in here now. Remember the area. So we need to remember a couple of things. So open a notepad. I'll open a notepad, because we're going to need to track a couple of things. So first we're going to call this something, and I'm going to call this Linux WhatsApp. Okay, so remember this one. I'm going to copy this one over, and I'm going to paste this in here. Now our region, remember in here, it needs to be in one of these specific regions. And which one do I usually select? I did the Oregon West 1. So US West 1. So just remember that. We'll just go in here, US West 1. So we're going to get to all of this very soon. Very important to remember those kind of things. Zone, you don't have to change, but I'm just going to say West 1A. So just remember that, okay? Because we'll get to that soon. So microprocessors. Now, remember back in here, we said these kind of things in here. So we're going to scroll down, and we are going to have the E2 processor. Then you need to come in here, and we are going to select the micro one in here. Now, this is just a monthly estimate. Okay, this is a monthly estimate. But if we keep going with this and you don't exceed this, you will stay on the free plan in here. So as long as you don't exceed the space in the outbound traffic, which you're not going to have, the WhatsApp messages in and out is going to be really low. If anything else, you're going to pay for the outbound usage, but a lot of it will be incoming. Okay, it's going to be small. It's going to be small bits of data. It's really small. We're only going to use it for text messaging, right? So, and if anything else, it's going to be $7 a month, which is pretty low. You can check on your billing. If you need to add a separate card as well, we can go configure for all of that. But that's going to be the first part in here. So have that in here. You can scroll down to, it's going to be a Debian version, and we are just going to see the hard drive in here. Do I need to change the hard drive? Networking. This is all good in here. So the hard drive, we're going to come through in here. And this is an important part. So remember, 30 gigabits standard disk size. So you need to change this to standard disk, and we're gonna hit that 30 in there. Okay, so it's important we stay within that limits. So just let it reload for a second. So we're still on the $7 a month, and that's gonna be it. That's gonna allow us to create our machine, and we'll just let it load. It's gonna take a little while, but all I need you to do is remember that name in there, and we're gonna use a lot of should we use GPT? I'm gonna come back to ChatGPT, and we're gonna use a lot of ChatGPT as well. Have that in here. I'll show you the basic commands, and I'll show you. I've done Linux for a long time, so kind of know a lot of it. Some of it doesn't work. I'll try explain my best I can through it. So while that loads up, if you're on Windows, we are going to need to install a thing called PuTTY. So PuTTY is just a terminal command to connect to things. So here we go. So go to your App Store, install PuTTY, and we'll have that on there. We'll use that soon. And so this is in here. This works in here. So what we can do is we can connect on SSH. Click that button in here, and it opens an SSH terminal in your browser. Now you can just use this. This is going to be fine if you just want to use it. I just like to use PuTTY a little bit more. And I'm going to show you how we install all of that very soon. So it's going to connect. And we'll give that a second. And that's connected. This is your server. So I'll try just use this. No, we're going to need a couple of things. So have your PuTTY installed, and we can just shut this one in here. Have your PuTTY installed, and then the next thing we need to do, we'll need a thing called gcloud. So it's a bit of a command line prompt that we need to enable. Now to get that, all we need to do is come to Google. I'll come back, open this one in here. Google gcloud. And we're going to come to this one here. And if you're using Cloud Shell, gcloud are available. You need to install it. Otherwise, download and install gcloud. So again, you use whichever one you need. I am going to use it for Windows. So we just need to figure out the Windows installation. Don't install the installer. This one in here. And it's installed in the corner behind my face. So this is very specific to Google. Okay, so let's have this in here. Turn on screen reader. I don't think I need any of that. It's just a command line interface that we're going to be able to connect to our cloud drive, because we're going to need to set up some firewall stuff. Okay, so cloud tools for PowerShell. All right, just hit that install in there, and then we should be able to connect to our gcloud store. So just leave this running for a second. Don't see any pop-ups to install anything. So remember in here, we just need to find our external IP. In fact, does it show it in here? There's your external IP. So we need that one in there. Eventually, we're going to use that one. I have that in there. While that all loads, I should come back through in here. And it's going to take a little while. So while this loads, let's go set up N8N. So we're going to come through in here. Now remember, N8N wherever you want to. You can just have this on the separate screen. It's just going to download and install stuff. So let me quickly log into my N8N. So just log in. So what we're just going to do is we're going to create a new workflow. Now, every WhatsApp, every bit of WhatsApp, if you are sending a message, if it receives a message, or you know how when you have a chat module, It also has the composing bits in there. Everything is going to be an event. Okay, so it gets a little bit hard, and we'll filter that out very soon. But because all of those are events, you can't go into test mode because you'll have 4 to 5 events happening at the same time. And if you're in test mode in N8N, that means that those events are going to go too fast and the rest is going to fail because when you have a test, you have to listen, start, restart. So you can't have it. So we're going to have to put it in production. So WhatsApp, YouTube. You know what I mean by that is when we create a new webhook, also have some critical update for some reason. Webhook. All I need to do is I'm going to need to make sure I come in here and I copy that webhook to the production one. And I'm going to enable it and just hit the save button. So I just need that one for now. Okay. So in here, I have that one set up. I have that through in there. And that's it. So I'll pause this and I'll come back once we're done with this part in here. So once the thing is installed, the G-Cloud's installed, it's going to pop up something like this. Says in command line terminal. Not quite sure what this would show under any of the other ones if you're using a Mac, but I'm expecting something similar. So you must be signed in. So we are going to sign in. And it's just going to do a pop-up. So it pops up my Google sign in on the side. And I'm just going to sign in with Google off screen here in a second. And I'm just going to allow things. So it's just a normal Google Cloud SDK wants to connect. Now, if you have a bunch of projects open, we're going to work with it. So if you would have set this up in a project, you would know the project you're on. And I'm on the N8N render project. That's what it shows in the top here. So I'm just going to go say number 7 in here. And do you want to configure the default region? I'm just going to say no. All right, so here we go. Here's it in here. So if we want to connect to our instance, all I'm going to say is the following. So we'll move this off the side. Let's see in here. I'll move this a little bit off the side. I'm just going to say that I have a Google VPS instance. It's called this. Oops. And the region of I have my G-Cloud CLI installed. How do I connect to it? So this should give us a command. If it doesn't, have to go Google the actual one again. And it should just be this one. Let's actually see if this works. Hope it does. It's just got so SSH is the protocol that we use to connect to Linux machines. Like HTTP is website support 80. SSH is the secure login CLI for it. It just means it's going to create a private key so I don't have to type in any passwords. So that computer is going to trust my computer where I log in, and that's just how it's going to work. So that's in short of it. Oops, we're going to hit the yes button. And so it's updating the SSH. So give it a couple of seconds. We're going to store our SSH key. Oops. And actually, before I could do anything else, store your SSH key in the cache. Okay. So that would do anything anyway. I'm gonna move this off to the side because I don't need that. You need that window open, but it's connected into Putty in here now. I'm gonna have to figure out how we zoom into Putty. So give me a second. How do I zoom in? All right, there we go. So we zoomed into it. Hope you can kind of see a little bit on it. So a lot of things are going to be command line stuff in here. So follow along as much as you can. Pause if you need to pause and figure things out. So the connect part is this part in here. I don't really know if I can make a massive guide on this, but here it is. Just follow along. I'll paste this in below. I'll have to delete all of this and redo all of it later on, but that's okay. Um, yeah, so pause, write, copy, paste as much as we can. We'll go for it. So there we go. We're pretty much up here ready to go. So the next step we're going to do is we go along from here is we're going to need to change the firewall rules. So if you don't understand too much about it, everything that's connected to the internet has a firewall to it. The firewall only allows certain traffic in and out for it because if everything's open, anyone can connect to anything. So it's just a bit of a security feature. So you have usernames, you have passwords, you have your SSH keys to protect things, but you can just block things off anyway. So think of it as a firewall is like a door, right? So security wise, if we want to get through a door, we either have a secret pass token, so a card that will let you in, or you can have a username and password. So you knock on the door and there's a person that says username and password, or there is a locked trellis gate in front of your door and you just simply can't get into the door. You can't knock on it, you can't get into it at all. So at the moment, everything is shut. So we have a door, but we can't even try to connect to the door with username and password, except for this port 22 SSH. Everything else is shut. So all the programs we're going to use is going to require specific ports. So HTTP and HTTPS, for example, is port 80 and port 443. So to connect with this, we are going to need to open a couple of ports, and we're actually going to have to look this up. But one of them is 8080 and 443, I think, just to connect to it and set it up for our WhatsApp. And then secondly, it's the sending a webhook out and sending and receiving a webhook back. So we're going to look at some firewall things next. So hope that's you understand that part. Yeah, let's go open some ports and then we're going to install things into this. So to change the firewall rules, we are gonna go into PowerShell. So we're gonna use the same sort of command structures what we used in here. Oops. So the G Cloud prompt. In fact, we can use that. So it's in here, and hopefully you can see all of this. So make sure you copy and paste this, and I'm gonna paste this through. So what this says is we're gonna use the G Cloud. We're gonna create a new firewall rule that's gonna allow port 8080 for the Evolution APIs. Hit the enter button there, and that should work in there. So error. So that's all right. So I've done that one. So I'll just paste this in here. So a lot of my things already exist because I've done this before. Okay, so that's going to be your first one. I'll add this down the bottom somewhere. So um so let me just paste this in through in here and come back in here. So that's going to be in there for you to use. So the next one we're going to use is this rule in here. And I had to write them all down as well. So this one is done. So if I paste that one in there, it's good to just double check. And it should say something like successful or something like that in there for you. So making notes on the side as we go. So that one's done in there. And what we'll do is connect to your server. I'll just add this in here. Server name, location, IP, webhook, and I'm gonna say connect the firewall. Set up firewall. Sorry, set firewall rules, and I'm gonna have the next one in here. And so it already exists, so that's all right. And I'll add this one to our resources in there. And we'll just go, I was trying to go slowly so you can see and add this. So there's notes for you to get as well. And then the last one, we'll list them all out. So list all rules. I'm just having them in like this in here. So you should see something very similar to this. I just want to copy this all over as well. And paste that in there. So this just allows all our ports. Okay, so we're allowing the connections in, backwards, forwards. These are some other ones I've tried, so don't worry about those, but you should have those at the very least. Okay, so right now what we're gonna do next is install our latest packages. So the one everything is updating. Okay, so to update your Linux, Unix, whatever, to update it is sudo. So it means sudo, we are going to act as a supervisor. We're going to say apt and we're going to say update. Okay. So hit the enter button in there and that's going to download our latest packages. And then to upgrade it all, so I'm going to say here, upgrade sudo apt update sudo upgrade. Sorry, my typing is very horrible. 4 packages can be upgraded, so I'm just going to say upgrade. So this goes through, it sees what needs upgrading. So we're going to upgrade to the latest things. So it goes through your entire list of everything that's on here. It's a minimal distribution, so it's going to go up and upgrade to the latest version of the latest packages that's in there. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. And the next thing is going to be Docker. The easiest way to figure out, to explain what Docker is. So Docker is a container that runs on top of your server. So let's say you have an image of a working system or a working app. So let's say, if you have an application, you install an application on the server and you need to configure your server to work with the application and so forth and so on. But you can, and it's not quite the same, but similar, you can have like a virtual machine within your machine that is already set up and ready to go. So it's a Docker image of a application that's very specific at work. So for example, N8N. So you can host N8N by yourself or on your own server. So that means you have to start up a server and then install N8N on top of it. However, there are working N8N servers, and you can take that configuration of that server and you can load it with on your servers. They're not installing it, but taking that image and running a server on top of your server kind of thing. So yeah, go look up what Docker and Docker imaging is. But it means for this Evolve, we're gonna take the Evolve setup that someone else has done already, and we're gonna load it onto our server. So once this is all done, that's gonna be the next part. Um, installing the Docker system, and then installing the Docker image and configuring it for ourselves. So um, by doing that just means that we're skipping through having to install a bunch of things and having specific setups. And it cuts out a lot of things for us and just makes it a lot easier because we know there's a working system already. So I'll wait for all this to load and we'll come back hopefully soon. Okay, I had to come and reset the server. It was just hanging. So it's just clicking in there and resetting it. And let's go through and see if Docker actually works now. So we're gonna installing Docker first. And there you go. So it gets it all, and then once it's downloaded, installs it all. So I'm gonna update this section in here. Already have that in. So hopefully this goes past this 16%. We'll just give it a couple of minutes. And hopefully it goes all through. So the next part is it's going to get a little bit technical now, but it's about setting up our Docker. So it runs a system within, and we're going to need to link some stuff up, and then also configure the package through it. So first we get Docker, then we get the rest of it. So just bear with us. We'll keep going. And see what happens. Just giving us a couple of seconds. The next part we're gonna do is we're just gonna, because there's usernames and passwords within it, we just need to set up permissions. And the next command we're gonna do is this in here, and this just adds the username a user group to it. Okay, so I have this in here. I don't like how long this is taking. So I'm going to pause it again and hopefully this gets done. So the manual library, it's right, there we go. Errors was encountered the following processes. That's all right. So we're going to keep building on this and see if this works. At the very end of the day, I might have to come and restart it because there's obviously this problem here. But I don't need those. So let's just keep going. Oops. Shouldn't have highlighted it. So we're going to add that user. Done. This is making my notes on the side as well. So adding a user to it. Now the next part is going to be, let's go through and down here. Also add the group part to it. Not copy and paste. Add a new group to it. So hopefully this goes through in there for us. I'm just adding notes as we go along so I can give it all to you at the end, but that just goes through, and we're going to make sure now that Docker is installed. So once Docker is installed, the command, anything is the command -v or -- version, and gives you the version information, and that just means that's our image and it's ready to install. to keep going. So let me move this one over here a little bit. And let's now go download some more stuff. So Docker is installed, we know it's working, and we're just going to go do, this is our home directory, so we're going to come to our home directory, and then let's try hit the download button from here. So we're going to make a directory for the evolution folder, and we're going to copy it all in there. So this is how you make a directory under Linux. mkdir, make a directory, WhatsApp evolution, and we're going to cd into it, and I'm going to say this in here, cd that, and I'm going to keep going through to the next one. So I'm just adding the notes. So sorry, so this part is going to be a little bit slow because I want to give you the good notes. So cd in, I'm going to add that one in there. So I just added, oops, just keep adding the notes in here for you so we can keep going. All right, so next we're going to edit the configuration file. So the configuration, Nano is the editing tool that we're going to use. And so the command, the bits down here is down the bottom, but we just need to copy and paste this entire config in here. So I'm going to bring this up in here. Let's say edit config, add this in here. So the long version of this is just a setup. So we are gonna set up our internal server, internal environment. We're gonna make sure that we forward port 8080 to port 8080. So any 8080 comes in, forwarded to the internal configuration of it. We're going to set our global variables and also API key can changes if you want to. I'm going to have that in there for us. So let me add this config in here so you can have that as well. I'm adding this to my page. And so what I'll do is, so if you look down the bottom right, so Control O will say write, you're going to hit enter in it, and then Control X is that it's saved. So next, just gonna create a bit of a directory structure. So come through here, make a new directory for it. So we've set the environmental variables for it, and we're gonna go start it up. So let's see if we can start this up and hit that in there. And so what it does is it pulls it up and it downloads all the things for us. So hopefully that works. So let's give it a couple of minutes and see if it actually runs. So what part of the evolution, so it's going to create it. It's got a bunch of config files. It extracts that image for us. It also needs to build it out a little bit for us from here. So let's just go back in here. So there's the configuration. So we're going to start with version 3.8. We're going to load the Evolution API server. This is the pre-setup to our latest version for it. So it downloads this image and install it. But there's a bit of configuration within in regards to it uses a database, a SQL database to load and share stuff. So if it doesn't make any sense, don't worry about it. We'll keep going from here. And we'll just see what it says. The basic setup in here, we shouldn't worry about it, but we'll look at the log file and see how it goes. So it's going to download some stuff and we'll come back in the next part. Right, so that show's done. So what we need to do is we just need to check that it's working properly. So this is the command to check it. I'm gonna hit that button in there, and let's make sure I save this in for us. Hit the enter button. It should show something. Why is it not showing anything? Um, check if it's running. All right, so this is exactly what I was worried about. So give me a second. I'm gonna go and edit a couple of things, and we'll see how that goes. All right. So long story short is that I had to redo the version. So what I did is I actually just had to ask ChatGPT for this, and I had to get a new log in here. So let's replace this one, and you'll see. I'm just gonna paste this. So the biggest change is this part in here. So we actually gone with a stable version. So let's put that in there, and that's all that's changed. So you stop it, we go back, we nano that, we delete all of it out, and then we added this version in here. So I should put this in between here, so you know to add those in. And that's going to be our new version of it. Okay, so it's more to do with this in here, and I did exactly the same thing. And what it then does is it gives quite a big log file here for us, and it just shows that the Evolution API is actually running for us. So sweet. So the next step is, let's keep building on this. So that this is important. So it means it's running and working. So the next part is going to be, let's see if we can test this. So we're going to come back in through our PowerShell command in here. I'm going to add a new terminal in here, and then I'm going to add this part. So that's our server. Do we have our server IP right? And we're going to see if we can connect to it and see what this shows. Why is that not working, the string type? So I'm just going to quickly get that in there. Might just be I still need to restart the server, so give me a second. Let's try the invoke command. So if I copy all this, go through the invoke command, and nice, that's it. So it connects. So like curl, so curl is more, it's kind of like a command line for something like Google Chrome. Okay, so it means we can connect to it. But curl sometimes doesn't work, so there's the invoke command, so that works. So I'm gonna add that through in here. And all I want to do is just copy this as well. And I'll save this in through here, because the next part is that we're going to connect to it. So this is running. Okay. So the next part we can go out through here. So you can actually connect to it and we can go edit it, but we're going to actually just go manually create an instance. So, and you do this by creating this. So I'm going to have this in here. And that should work. So, right. So we're loading things, unloading things. So it's going to take a second to get your mind onto this, but we have a we have a Google Cloud instance. So we have a virtual machine on Google Cloud. Then we create that virtual machine. So within that virtual machine, we have Linux. So on top of that virtual machine, we now load a Docker file, and this Docker file is going to run a program called Evolution on it. So inside Evolution, we are now going to create separate mini servers as well, and we're going to create one, and this one is called WhatsApp. So let me just go through in here, and I'll copy the command as well. So it's created Evolution, and on Evolution, it creates another instance for us. So we're gonna go create the WhatsApp application. Now, if you want to do different WhatsApp accounts for this, so this is where we're gonna connect our WhatsApp to. We're gonna connect it to this. You're gonna have to create a new one of these, so it specifies our webhook, and we're going to have to call it something else, as we're going to have a second phone connected to it as well. So let me just copy this part. Oops. And I'm going to say should see something like this. We're getting very close. Just something like this. So I just copied it all in here so you can get that. And through in here. Nice. So enter through here. So we have an instance, we have it up and running. Now let's see if we can connect to it with Chrome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through here, open a new tab, and I'm going to paste this in here. Open Google Chrome. And remember, our server IP address is this. So I'm going to connect with Google Chrome. Oopsie. Have that in there, the manager. And I'm going to put that in the top. And our API key is going to be the Evolution API key. So that's what this is actually connected. So it's connecting to the console. And remember, your API key from above. I have that in there. Paste this in here and say connect. And sweet. So we have this in here. So I actually don't know what is change the language in the top right hand corner. So it's behind my head a little bit. Oops. Sorry again. I'm going to change this to English. And we now have this in here. So now grab your phone. So I highly suggest you get a second phone with WhatsApp on it. And I should have WhatsApp on my extra device in here as well. I have WhatsApp on my computer to make things a little bit easier. Get WhatsApp on your device. And let me move this over to the side. So make sure you have WhatsApp on your device. I have it on here. I'm going to filter. I can't really move this out the way. Anyway, have that on there. I'm just booting up a second phone for this. So give us a second. All right, I had to come back into my phone and just make this a little bit bigger. And hopefully I can kind of show you on the screen. I can't cast to in here, but you're going to open your WhatsApp. So I got WhatsApp installed. You're going to open your WhatsApp, and then on the top right hand corner, there's 3 dots. And you're going to click the 3 dots, and you're going to say link a device. So it should kind of have a screen kind of like this. And then down the bottom, you're going to click link device. And it's going to bring up your camera and QR code scanner. So within here, we're going to click on this in here. and we're going to say connect a device, and it's going to bring up the QR code. And all I'm going to do is just connect our QR code in here. All right. It says login, connecting. It says logging in. So hopefully it connects for us. Just giving it a second. So it seems to be very slow. I don't know why. Might just be this phone. I had to get a Smart Gen strange phone. So I'll just pause this and wait for it to connect. Alright, so it took a little while, and then you should have a little Chrome device down the bottom in here. Now in here it still doesn't show connected. So let me hit the back button. Oh no, there you go. So connected in there. So now I can make this a little bit smaller in here. And that's it. So we actually connected within. Now, when you come to your WhatsApp, you need to make sure that was running. Now make sure you go into executions. And what we're going to see is a bunch of stuff come in here soon, hopefully, if we have the right webhook set up. So let's just go back through in here and connect back in here. Our webhook is that. I'm actually wondering if we filled in the right webhook for this. I was hoping to see something come in and come back through here. That is correct. So that is enabled, and there should be starting to see some logging in here. Thought I did it wrong. Did that wrong at the start. I always do that. Always do that. Save executions. I hope that didn't mess things up. Hi. Oh, there we go. All right. Sweet. We have information coming in. So this is what I meant. This is what I meant. So it comes in here, everything comes in, you get a couple of messages, and you'll see we'll have a lot of information set up to come through in here. So I'll just load this in here for a second. We can see them all coming in, okay? So when you double click on them, you can see these are all someone is composing. So someone is writing a message, and so when someone composes, it starts a thread, message getting sent, or conversation is starting, events getting updated, the chat's getting updated. So every event comes through and gives you some information, and we can make it a little bit less. So I actually don't know what this one is. Some of them are right. So here, text messages. Hi. So from me means it's from me is false. So that's the important part. So from me is false. So it's not me sending it. It means I'm receiving a message, and the content start is going to be that it's incoming content. Okay. So, and I think this one kind of duplicates it if it's read or received. Just check this one out. So it's a bit of a duplication. Okay. So, this is what I mean. You're getting a lot of content information that comes in. And what we can do in here is we can come through in here, and all we're going to do is we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need that. We're just going to have the send message one enabled. So hopefully that is it for us. That's it. I'm not even sure if this auto refreshes. Come through. How do I save it? I don't know. I'm sure I've clicked the save button. message. I don't think I need any of those. We'll see if it works. Save. Go back. All right, so we're only going to get the sent message sent to us. So therefore, once we come in here, it's going to go, oops, minimize this a little bit. My WhatsApp through in here. And all I'm going to say down the bottom is, this is a test 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So it goes through, it sends that, and see how they all come in. So let's see this one again. So we should only get 3 messages at a time. So it should be composing again. And then these two is where the difference are going to come from. So that one was composing. So the event is a chat update. And then we only get the message back. And we're going to load this one in here. This is our message. So event message update. And from me is false. And there's the message in here. So did that happen twice again? No. So this is what I mean. It gives the update saying there's an update coming. So someone is, here you got the tick messages. So someone's typing, so you get the dot, dot, dot. Then it's send, it's got the 1 dot, and then receive dot, dot. So this is literally how it happens. So what we're going to do next is build this one out. But you've come a long way. This is the easy part. Now we have our WhatsApp messages come in through in here, and all we're going to do is say copy to editor, then it actually pins our data from it, and we're going to build out a basic chatbot from this. Okay, so and I'll show you how we're going to take this, make sure we filter out. So we need to filter out that we're only going to use the message that we're going to receive 3 webhooks. We're only going to process 1, and then edit it, and then send it back. All right. So this is the exciting part. At the end is cool and exciting. So that was the boring part, setting it all up, a little bit technical, and I'll leave this in here for you as we go along. All right. Set to go put on a jacket. So what we're going to build out next. So what's going to happen is we need to filter out those messages. So only if it shows a couple of things. So the body is going to the message is going to have content. Then it's going to be a from me message. So the event is going to be a message upsert. So we're receiving a message. It's going to be not from me. So it's an actual value. We'll get to this. And we also just need to make sure we actually get content in here. And to do that, we're going to create an if scenario. So I'm going to come in here. We're going to click if. So only if all those things exist, we are going to proceed. All right. So first thing is we are going to look for the message from me. So from me, I'm going to drag that one in there. So from me, and we need to change this to, I'm going to change this now to Boolean. All right. So it's Boolean is false. Okay. So it's not a actual assigned bid. It is just the value is false of a true false equals to does and doesn't exist. So it's a Boolean value. So if it's false, and also if the event type is, so this is a string, so that's all right. If the event type equals message this, and it's just conversation. So I'll add this one in here. So if this, I thought I had it in here. I don't have it in the it's ticks. I thought I had it in here. It was ticks. Sorry. Message.conversation. Let me just quickly check this. Alright, I just had a quick little look, and so it's supposed to be ticks in here. It's supposed to be this one, not conversations. And now I'm wondering if this actually matters. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out and not have this one in here. So my original one had something in here, but it might be that once someone replies that it shows something different. So that's my only worry, is if we do the reply. So as long as we have these two, at least it should work. Okay, so if there's a message and there's a keyframe. So I haven't fully tested it too much. I don't know if replies will show different, but we'll have a look. We'll go through it and test it out. So if we go in through this, execute this test, and we'll say it goes down the true branch. So it does exist, and we're going to go through the true branch. Now, what you should do is also add a weight in here. Now, the reason we're adding a weight is, there's people at Meta does not like fancy stuff getting done, doesn't like automations, doesn't like text messages. And especially if you're going to test this, once we test this out and we go backwards and forwards, hello, yes, no, and so on, it's going to be quick message. The messages are going to be quick, okay? And then the AI might just pick up that you're doing stuff that you should not be doing, and then next minute your account is banned, okay? So you don't want that. So we're going to go to wait. I'm going to say execute this step in here. And then let's just go add a chat module to this. Come on. Let's load up through in here. And we're going to come through in here. Now, the only other thing that concerns me is the messages, but that's all right. Let's see. Chat trigger or AI agent. It wasn't me. Agent. We'll get to that part soon. We're going to give it some memory. OpenAI. This is all basics, right? We all know what these ones are about. Me. I apologize for my clumsiness. Memory. And now the simple memory. We should be. Is there a session ID in here? So it remembers some stuff. Remote ID. So this is the message it comes from. So we can just use this because every chat is going to be different. So this is my other number. So I don't see a reason why we don't have to use this. Okay. So it means it saves our chat at least for the next 5 ones in there. We'll come through in here. You are a helpful assistant. You reply to this message. And the message we are going to link through is. Now, what I'm worried about, if you test this out, extended text message. I don't know why it shows this. This is a test 1, 2, 3. So if this doesn't work, it's because this is mapped wrong. And we'll test this out because my other ones was all conversations. So I'll go through and have a look in this. And then our output is just going to be an HTTP request. Now, you're just going to have to copy these out exactly like I show you. So it's going to be HTTP. Oops. And we'll just go through this. How remember we're going to copy this out, and you need to have this exactly like it is so we can use it for the reply. So in here, and our actual URL is going to be this, but so paste this in here. We need to fix our IP address. So IP address is going to come back in here. Remember in the top we had that in. I'm going to fix that in, copy. Maybe it's the same one. No, it's not the same one. Paste that. So authentication, none. We're going to go send headers, and we're going to use the API key that we have. Remember, we saved that API key as well. We have that one in there. Then we're going to send in the body, and in the body, we are going to send it as JSON format, and we are going to put this in here. And what we need is we need to execute this one first. This is it. How can I assist you today? Sweet. All right. So if this run, just double check. So the output message is in here. So we're just going to link that back up. So double click on this. Post request is going to be, we're going to post it. We're going to authenticate with our OpenAI message in here. And then the number we're going to send it to, we're linking up with the that same conversation AI. Now it should all be the same for different ones in here. Remote ID, and it's got the number in the front and at WhatsApp. So that's what we link through in that. And the text messages is that we're going to reply with is obviously just, now if you're going to test this out, just write anything you want and it's going to test it out. But we added the AI in here. And our output message is going to be in here, and just have it in the middle there. And let's see if we can test this step. And did not like that. JSON parameters needs to be valid JSON. Now, what have I messed up in here? I messed up something. I quite do this quite often too. I have to fix my JSON. JSON's almost correct. The problem template is there. You need to make sure you are right. Yeah, I don't like that either. Let's see what it says in here. I don't know why the equal bits is in front of it. Oh, it still doesn't like that. All right. So I reckon it still doesn't like it. All right. So actually what happens in here is it has the little quotation mark. So we need to fix that. So when we look at this, you received your message. This is a test. How can we help in the future? And we just need to JSON wrap this. So how you do that, let me see if I can find it the easy way. I actually forgot how to do this, so I don't know. So we are gonna go through, do this, add that part in there. So the reason it's failing is because this has got the double quotation mark. So we're sending extra quotations over. So I just need to make sure we delete this. And let me fix it and I'll show you how, because I'm going to go backwards and forwards a couple of times because I forgot how to do this. All right, so I found it and it's called JSON string. So you take out the double quotations and you add the JSON.stringify in the front of it. So it actually makes it into a string. Okay. And it adds the double quotation marks in there already, and then it goes out and sends it. Now, where is my WhatsApp? And here we go. So, message received down the bottom in here. Now, let's hit the save in this. And then we're going to go to executions. And scroll to the top. So that's our last one in here. And put this through in here. We can see it. We're going to see it all come in. So I have this on the screen in here. And then I'm just going to say, hello, R. And we're going to see it's coming in. R, U, and AI agent. See how all those are coming in? And it's probably going to come again. Because I just click on it and you see it stops at that if statement there. And here we go. So it's coming a couple of times again, and now it's going to go out, run for that 15 seconds. So I know it's that one. And it's going to wait for that 15 seconds to go for it. And in the meantime, I got back. Hello, yes, I'm an AI agent. How can I help you today? And there we go. So it's going through beautifully. So I just want to make sure of a couple of things in here. So that was the one that worked. So this one all stops in because we don't have anything else coming through. See how they stop? That's what I mean. You get all these requests come through, still stops. So there's no from me, see? So we got the event. It stops the first one. And again, all these nicely stop. Now, what I'm wondering is, how do I actually know if I can reply? Okay. Let's see how this works. So I have this in here. I'm going to say reply. What LLM are you using? All right. So, probably like prompt injecting, right? No, it picked it up. It picked it up. Okay, so it worked. So, very strangely, sorry, or I was just talking to myself. You're using GPT-4, right? So, real easy to do. Now, you can start building this out with automation if you want to send it out via reading a Google Sheet in it, or if you want to now start building this out to do more. Possibilities are endless. Okay, so hope that all that part kind of made sense to you. Like I said, a bit complicated at the start. This part here is easy. For some reason, when I did this initially, it had this saying conversation text. Now let's see. Actually, I think this is where the problem comes from. So this is via my Windows app. Now, I think this is going to be the problem. So I'm going to take my phone and let's see how this goes. Maybe it's not going to pick this up because I have the other one in there. So I'm going to have to build out two of these at the same time, or add an or event. So I'm going to just say test from my phone. See if as I'm typing, they are coming along. And I'll watch this fail out. Hello. I apologize. It's still going. So I don't know why I did that. So now, even I'm confused now. Yeah. It didn't. It failed. It failed. Right. We actually did find a problem where we're not mapping this correctly now. So it looks like your message is empty. How can I help? Right. This is what I talked about. So, if we build this out, so gonna have to find a lot of what ifs. So I'm gonna have to think about this part because this is now a conversation from my phone. See in here. So if it's via the other one, it's a text, and if it's this one, it's a conversation. Right. So see two different options. Actually just figured it out. Didn't know about it. Once you send it from a web app, it comes through as a text. Remember we had message text, and now this is coming through as a message conversation. So I'm gonna have to stop this and figure out how we're gonna add this in differently. Alright. This is how I fixed it. I added the edit fields in here. So what I'm saying is that so when a text message comes in, or when a message comes in via the web app, it actually shows with different parameters. So that's why I didn't get it the first time. But it shows with the, I just wrote a bunch of random text. It says that the message is an extended text message and it's text only. However, when I come from my phone, so executions in here, it shows the conversation bit. I'm going to say this message is from, just typing it on here, from my phone. I'm typing this one in here and then we'll see. So we're going to get a different JSON mapping, and that gets annoying by itself because there one coming from here, and if someone messages from the phone, it's mapped up different. So we use the set field to bring those variables together. And all it says in here, so if one message is coming and it's either mapped as conversation, which is this one now, this message from my phone says message conversation, whereas the other one was something text message, we just map it together with the message field in here. And all that, how that looks like is if that whenever there's one, it maps it out. If it's not the other one, it's not mapped out. So it just brings the two fields together as such. So you can see, yeah, it just maps it out. So it works out very, very well. So I'll show you in here. So we're back in here and we're going to say, oops. So just down the bottom here, if you can see, this is a message from the web app. Does it work? Tell me a joke. And we'll bring those out. And should have come to either, oops, executions. And there you guys, it's running through. And bring this in here. Oops. Your message from your WhatsApp came through perfectly. Here's a joke for you. And I'm just going to use my phone and it should still send it through the messages. And I'm going to say, this is from my phone. Give me a poem. And you see in the bottom, it's send that through. So it's via the phone. And it should do the same thing. And you can see that one running through in here. So this one in here. Oops. And here you go. Right. Thank you for your message. Here's a poem for you in here. So that fixes those two problems. I wondered why those are different But that's the reason why. And that is pretty much the end of this. So if you wherever you watch this, I hope this makes sense. It's a bit longer. I haven't seen anyone build this out at all. If you go to YouTube, um, and if you look up in WhatsApp, so not taking this out of anyone, you'll know that a lot of these are, especially when they have the WhatsApp triggers in here, a lot of them you'll need the actual API. You'll need the business one from WhatsApp. Likewise in here, you need the business version of WhatsApp. However, in here, you don't need that business API for it. It just works with your normal phone. Just make sure you don't get locked up in spam for it. And a lot of these people will show you how to go through and register those API keys and through it. There's another one in here. And it's all kind of the demo versions for it because no one wants to pay Meta for extra stuff. Okay. And you can look up in WhatsApp Evolution API. And yeah, it doesn't even bring any of that up. So anyway, hope that works. Hope that makes sense for you. Evolution API. I haven't tested adding more phones to this. You should be able to connect more things to it. And obviously now you can build it out. I haven't tested sending messages out. So that if you have a spreadsheet and then you have the number in this format, so area code, country code number at what app, then you might be able to send out messages straight away. So it reads it from the spreadsheet and sends it out one at a time. Maybe that was what I'll build out next for in here. So hope this makes sense. I'm gonna go stop my server now so not everyone uses it. And I hope you learned something. So please go to my YouTube and support it. If you watch this on YouTube, please make sure you like, you follow, subscribe, and watch some other cool stuff like the Claude thing I'm doing right now. But yeah, easy, fun. I haven't seen anyone else done this, and yeah, let's get you out for the next one.